He's simply the best. He's better than all the rest.
One for each other and all for one. The three brave amigos are we. Brother to brother and everyone. A brave amigo. Wherever they need us, our destinies lead us. Amigos, we're always together.
Hello and welcome to the Three Amigos FPL show for Game Week 29. We are the Three Amigos. I'm your host, FPL Marple, and alongside me as always are my amigos Marz and Dale. On this week's show we are joined by a special guest, David Issac. David, you're very welcome to the Three Amigos. You're having a fantastic year in FPL, number 1 in the Christmas Island League and number 87 in the overall ranking, I believe. You've a great track record in the game, but where does this season rank in your history?
Hi guys, thanks for having me on. So far this is my best season to date in terms of overall position. I've never been this high up. My highest ever finish was 573rd a couple of seasons back, so being in the top 100 is not something I'm exactly used to, but everything going well, so I can't complain.
That's brilliant stuff. And tell me, how was Game Week 28? How did you get on so far? Of course, we're not completely finished it. We'll see if Man City Arsenal match, the rematch, is going to be on Thursday.
Yeah, it's going decent for you. I mean, it's not really a high-scoring week, so as long as you're, at high 40s, up to mid-50s, you're fine. I'm on 55 with Sterling left and no points to come on if he doesn't play. But I think he was pictured in training, so hopefully he does play. So, yeah, it's not been a bad week, but nothing great.
Dave, how's do you feel the pressure being number 1 Christmas Island and top 100 in the world? How do you feel every game week?
Try not to think about it too much because I don't want it to affect my decisions at the end of the day. So obviously it's been good in terms of the Twitter community. I'm getting a lot of followers, and I think the pressure will be like people expecting me to do well because I'm so high up. So I just take it one game at a time and try and do the best I can, and I don't really think about it too much.
So it doesn't affect your transfer decisions for the week then?
Well, I always take into consideration overall rank. So in terms of that will affect my decision if I want to kind of play it safe or not take too many risks, because I know I could drop down quite a lot because there's a lot of people going to be playing it safe and things. So I tend to play it safe, and that's my decisions really.
Yeah, because I know that you were the Elite 64. You're obviously riding high. I think you're number 1 in that one as well. The FPL Generals one. It's a great mini league to be in terms of a yardstick and how you're getting on. A lot of very good managers in that league. Great to have you on, David. And the lads hope to soak up some of your knowledge later on. I'm too far gone to have any hope for me. But Marzi, tonight you're going to be called the Beast from the East. So how was your game week 28?
The Beast from the East.
The Beast from the East, yeah.
Yeah, the game week is all right. 48 points. I keep trying to not captain Salah. I don't know why. Having read Dave's article, the 7 points, and if people haven't, they should really look at it because it's some really good advice in there. I guess I don't captain Salah because for me, it's about the mini league. And a lot of the people in front of me have both, and they seem to always captain Salah. And I'm thinking, right, if I can catch them at one time and my other players do well, I can overtake them. And it's working in a way. I've caught up a lot because I have some different players to what they have. But yeah, I mean, one day I'm going to captain Salah and you're probably going to blank. But for me, I hope Sterling doesn't play. Sorry, Dave, because I've got Mariappa on the bench, my secret weapon. 8 points waiting. So unless Sterling gets double digits, him and Osumandi, I'm happy with just Mariappa coming in. So yeah, okay week so far.
And how about yourself, Dale? How was your 28?
Not great. 39 points. I'm just treading water. I've got 3 players to go, but yeah, I'm not expecting much. So yeah, Captain Kane. I changed it. I was actually going to captain Mane, but I changed my mind last minute to Kane, and he missed a few sitters, so that was annoying.
Yeah, I thought you'd stuck on Mane. I was when Mane scored the goal, I thought you'd be jumping around the place, but yeah, you'd done a late change. Good stuff, lads. We'll leave game week 28 in the rear view mirror. Other than one thing, we need to get Marz, of course, his talking point of the week. Marz, what's the FPL community talking about this game week, or more particularly, what are you talking about?
There's only one talking point. Listen, you watch the Liverpool versus West Ham game, and you sit down to watch the 5:30 kickoff. You think it's going to be a cracker. Absolutely worst half of the season so far. Then Okaka comes on, and everything changes. Just everything changes.
Your love affair with this man.
Listen, he's simply the best. He's better than all the rest of the budget strikers. Actually, joking aside, right? I think if Wilson loses his place for Defoe because he's been rubbish, I might actually bring Okaka in. Because the funny thing is, yes, I really actually like him. I think the guy will bulldoze anybody out of his way. I mean, I watched the Everton players try to get the ball off him. It's quite funny. He did actually change the game. And just up front with Deeney, it was too much for Everton to handle. But the only time I had him is when he was on the bench and he never played because he was injured. I saw him once. He scored a flick against Everton. And from then I was like, right, he's a cheap striker. I'm going to have him in. And at the beginning of the season, when he scored against Liverpool, my Twitter actually honestly crashed. Everybody was messaging me, Okaka. I hadn't known that he'd scored because I was watching it on my phone. So I was behind. And I was like, oh, gosh. So it was quite annoying. But yeah, joking aside.
Was you illegally streaming the game, Marz?
No, never. I have Sky Go. I have Sky Go on my phone. I pay for my games.
Jeez, if you ever tried to stream a match on a phone, I found the most frustrating thing in the world. The pop-ups are insane. You can't get rid of them to save your life.
No, it's the worst thing. And to be honest, what I do if I'm on Sky Go, I mute all my WhatsApp conversations. If it's like, I've got a Liverpool group with my mates, I've got another group, anybody that will tell me the score, because what's the point of me watching the game? I don't want to know. So I always
Sky Go's about an hour behind as well, isn't
it? Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you just have to deal with it. But yeah, that was my talking point. Okaka.
It's a good talking point, and it shouldn't really have been a surprise. I somehow took my eye off the ball, and I wasn't expecting it. But Okaka has to be the talking point of the week.
The three amigos are offering our listeners the chance to appear on our podcast as our special guest in a future episode. Simply be the first to identify the voice.
I'm a football player.
For your chance to win. Send your guesses to @3AmigosFPL on Twitter or on our Facebook page. That voice again.
I'm a football player.
Good luck.
Okay, guys, so now we're on to the listener questions, which of course makes up the bulk of our show. We're going to talk about basically all the big issues facing the FPL community coming into Game Week 29 and looking, of course, ahead at blank Game Week 31. Right now, most people they're really, I suppose, they're veering away from using their free hit chip in 31. Everyone will presumably be triple Liverpool, double Everton's, with Shaqiri and a couple of blankers thrown in for good measure. David, I'll come to you first on this one. Give us a secret weapon that people should be considering for Game Week 31.
Secret weapon, Junior Stanislas, Bournemouth. I think he served me well last year in the absence of King, and everyone's going to have the same players for 31. A lot of players are obviously not playing, but like you said, the Liverpools, the Evertons. And if you just want that differential, he's at home, and I could just see him getting double digits. Don't ask me why, it's just a gut feeling.
Yeah, Stanislas has some lovely game weeks in the past. So, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he was the hero of the game week. And Marzi, have you got any names? Okaka, yeah?
Okaka, exactly. No, actually, the Corey from Watford we talked about before. And kind of forgotten, but not too much. Some people have talked about him, Sigurdsson. Look, Everton are not going to be that wrong. Well, we keep saying that, but they seem to be much better at home. They have a couple of home games coming. They play Brighton at home, so that's one of the game just before the blank, and then they play Stoke away at the blank. If Everton are going to do anything, Sigurdsson's going to be involved. I've got a free hit chip. I've got the wild card, so I'm probably going to double up on Theos and Siggy potentially. Apart from that, Zaha is coming back. Now, I've had him, and you guys know I've had him from the beginning. So game week 1, then he went injured. Then I brought him back after he got injured, and he stayed in my team. And he's one of those guys that always seems to have the potential. You think it's going to happen, and he might get you a goal in in 3 and then nothing. And it's just so frustrating because when you watch him play, he should get a lot more points than what he gets. So he's one of those guys that really frustrate me. But if he's back and fit, he's the main man for Palace. So he will be my one under the radar at the moment because he's injured.
Brilliant stuff, lads. We'll move on, Dale, to the next one. John G, Grifters United, was asking. This is a good question, I think, because a lot of people, as everyone is, looking at 31 and they're kind of might be taking their eye off the ball for next game week and game week 30. But what do you see as the best area for gains in the next couple of game weeks? As John mentions, there could be quite a template in 31.
Yeah, I think there is going to be a template. I think everyone's going to be preparing for 31. I mean, it's not great. I mean, there's 5 fixtures currently, but we're probably going to lose the Spurs one, you would imagine. I think the areas for me, David's already mentioned Stanislas, and he's someone you've got to look at. His stats are pretty decent. I think your third Liverpool player is, because everyone's going to be having 3 Liverpool players, let's face it. And most people will have Firmino and Salah. I've got Firmino, Salah, and I've got Firmino, Mane, and I've got Van Dijk. But I think it's your third Liverpool player, and it's whether you go free attacking or whether you stick a defender in there. I'm sticking a defender in there because actually pretty decent since Van Dijk's come into the team. I know they conceded against West Ham, but I think Liverpool looked a lot better at the back with him in the team. His dominant centre half, and he's just anything that's coming at him, he's just heading it away. So he's doing what Klopp wanted him to do. I think I'm looking at Stoke because Everton have won 2 in their last 11, and they've conceded something like that. They're averaging 2.2 goals conceded over the last 8 or 9 weeks, which isn't like a Sam Allardyce team. So I'm probably going to avoid the Everton defence, and I'll be looking at getting a Stoke attacker in. And I've got chopsticks at the minute, but I'm probably going to do a sideways move and change him for Shaqiri. And then after that, it's slim pickings. I mean, Watford, they've got a lot of good budget options, but I don't fancy him against Liverpool in that fixture. And if I was going to be looking at Watford players, it'd probably be defenders. But again, for that fixture, you won't want Watford defenders. So, I'm probably just going to field 6 or 7 myself. But I think that's where you're going to have to look at is your budget midfielders is where you're going to probably make gains who are not highly owned.
What do you think of Huddersfield, Dale? They're quite cheap, and they've got Palace home.
Yeah, they have got Palace.
Game week. And then Swansea home the game week before.
Yeah, Huddersfield are a tricky one. I mean, Swansea have hit a bit of form, and I think Zaha's nearly back. And Huddersfield are a real tricky team to. Every time I seem to back a Huddersfield player, they don't do anything, and then when I take them out, they seem to perform. So I mean,
Huddersfield.
No, they're just so unpredictable. But that Pritchard has looked good. I think they signed him from Norwich, didn't they, for about 8 million. He's looked pretty good, but I'd avoid Huddersfield. But it depends. I mean, if you've got chips available, then you can gamble. You can take a gamble, and then you just wildcard, don't you? So but for someone like me who doesn't have any chips like that available, I'm going to be avoiding them.
It's a good point. The issue for me with 31, I look at it and I go, because I was thinking about the third Liverpool player, and I thought, okay, I want Van Dijk. Because when I look at the defenders for 31, there's not much defending happening at all. You look at the fixtures, and apart from Liverpool, Watford, I really can't see. Even Liverpool-Watford might not be a clean sheet, right?
Yeah, I agree.
It was a 3-3 at Watford. So I thought, right, okay, maybe I should just go attacking and just go really three cheap defenders and a cheap goalkeeper. So thinking maybe potentially doubling up on Huddersfield for those 2 games. Because if they're going to stay up or they're going to do anything, they need to win those 2 games. They've been okay at home. Their defenders,
they
if they do well,
home, don't they?
They do. And to be honest, you can't ask for better 2 fixtures than Swansea and Palace. I know both teams have done all right. The annoying thing is Huddersfield could win 3-1, and then your double up is just pointless because they conceded that stupid goal. And that's the annoying thing with 31 for the defenders, which is what making me thinking the gains are going to be in who you get between midfield and forwards, and if you have the balls to go different. So if everybody's going Wilson, you go, like you guys said, Stanislas or King, or even Nias or Kaka, whatever, or Dini, right? Well, I wouldn't go Dini, but you know what I mean. Go something different if you want to gain, because you know where most people are going at the moment. That's I know it sounds straightforward and obvious, but
nobody better than you, Marzi, at doing the straightforward and obvious ones anyway. Always be relied upon. Good stuff, Marzi. Next up is Adam B. So at AB Birdie, who was asking, is it too risky to take Robertson over VVD? I'm going to have my word first before you, Marz, on this one. He needs the cash, as he may want to get Kane eventually, Aguero, and he has Aguero and Firmino up top, and they've served him well. But Kane likes the minnows, and he'll be playing against them shortly. He's determined not to lose Aguero. So I take it from what he's basically asking here is really to upgrade, or if you call it that, from Firmino to Kane. So he'll have a Kane Aguero combo up front. First of all, do you think that's worthwhile? And what's your thoughts on Robertson versus VVD?
I don't think he should do Firmino to Kane. Absolutely not. At the moment, you keep Firmino because of the fixtures, the form, and the fact that he doesn't blank. So I think he's maybe more thinking, I would guess, Aguero out, Kane in. But I could be wrong. That's what you should do, by the way, because listen, I love Aguero, and I've had to move him on, and it was quite difficult. But I do think that okay, he'll probably play against Arsenal in this game, I'd imagine, or at least come on. But then he does have Chelsea 3 days after that, and then maybe a break because the Champions League game is gone. But then I think, you know, the more the teams around them lose in the league, and the more they get a grip on the league, I can see Aguero being rested for the Cups. So obviously now left just the Champions League. So I wouldn't take Firmino out. I'll take Aguero out. Is it worth it? Yes, over the next few games, because Liverpool have better fixtures and they don't blank. It depends on your chips as well, because you might want to bring the City players back in. Robertson, VVD. Robertson has been brilliant. On last spot, I said, of course, VVD, Van Dijk, because he's, you know, for me, he's the better player and potentially more prospect of scoring goals. But if you need the money for the cash, then clean sheet is guaranteed with either of them if Liverpool get one. And Robertson is actually doing really well on the attacking sense as well. His position, I think, is actually cemented in the team right now. I can see Moreno coming back in, but only from the bench. So if it helps you free money somewhere else and get Kane back in, which you should, by the way, then go for it.
Good stuff, Marzi. Brilliant. As always, I like to give you the Liverpool questions. Yeah, I agree with that on Robertson over VVD. He was, I almost pulled the trigger on Van Dijk a few times, but I held off, and I'm glad I did, because he looks always good, as though he has potential for goals, but hasn't quite panned out, and Liverpool are always a little bit unlikely, shall we say, to pick up the clean sheet. They can't really be relied upon, and you want more clean sheets for that kind of price tag. But I like it, and thanks, Adam, for that question. Next one, David, is from now RV Svardl, at RV Svardl. He was asking, he's a multiple of questions for you, so we'll be keeping you busy, and you'll be earning your appearance fee on the podcast tonight with this one. First up is Lukaku or Aubameyang alongside Kane and Vardy on your wildcard team after game week 33. So what's your thinking on, what have you thought of Aubameyang so far? And Lukaku, he's getting a lot of bad press, but he does seem to still pop up the goals.
He does, but he's just hasn't been that explosive this season. I mean, from what we know from Lukaku from the past, he's been, you know, a major striker for Everton and a major FPL asset with, you know, points galore. But for Man United, it just hasn't worked out for him, in my opinion. The most you're going to get is single digits with him. The odd double digit, but I think he's had like 2 this season, maybe 3. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Aubameyang, we haven't really seen him settle in yet, because Arsenal have just been terrible lately. But I won't say we, but Arsenal have really good fixtures from now to the end of the season. And I think with knowing Arsenal, being a fan of Arsenal, knowing how they are, when they've got nothing to play for, they're kind of like, they play brilliantly. They've got no pressure on them. So now I feel like we're out of top 4 the race. We're quite far away from that. He's cup tied in Europe, so he's going to be playing all the Premiership games. And he's going to want to finish the season on a high note, give himself and the team confidence for next season. So I'd prefer Aubameyang, because I'd want an Arsenal cover for the rest of the season. And I don't think their fixtures are that great. And who knows, they could still be in the Champions League at that stage. So could Lukaku be arrested if 4th place is guaranteed? You never know. So I prefer Aubameyang for that.
Yeah, no, I think I agree 100% with that. Next one up from him is it's to do with Chelsea, and he's wondering about what's your opinion on the rotation risk for Christensen and Willian. Willian is a podcast favourite of ours, of course. He always looks good when he gets opportunities, but he is always a little bit of a rotation risk. And, of course, Christensen has been trolling people all season in terms of won't he play? Won't he last 60 minutes? He is probably the troll player of the season.
Yeah, I think they're definitely both rotation risks. More so Willian. It's happened for his whole Chelsea career. He has loads of games where he's in form, he's doing well, and you think he's going to keep playing. But just one or two games he doesn't get any goals, and he's going to be coming off 60th minute, miss the next game, come on for 10 minutes. Someone like that is just really hard to have in your fantasy team, because you're going to be giving up 6.5 to 7 million. You're not guaranteed every game. You have to be worrying, is he going to be starting? You check the team sheet. I think with Chelsea, there's only maybe the goalkeeper, and Aspi has had his 1 game rest, and Kante. I think they're the only ones that are going to be nailed on from now on. Even Christensen, I feel like he is one of the main defenders now, but again with Champions League, FA Cup, Cahill could easily start any of the games. David Luiz out of nowhere could start. So I think they're big rotation risks, to be honest.
Speaking of rotation risks, actually, the next one is about Man City players. And I was wondering, how are you actually fixed in terms of Man City assets at the moment? He's asking about, do you dare keep more than one City asset after game week 32? In terms of the rotation risk, if there's a title wrapped up, Champions League games. Even if they haven't got the title wrapped up, mathematically, Pep could kind of take his foot off the gas a little bit. But what's your thoughts on Man City assets?
Well, I had 2 for most of the season, Otamendi and Sterling. I sold Otamendi last game week. I've still got Sterling, and obviously he's on a flag at the moment. But just looking at their fixtures and knowing that they've probably got bigger fish to fry in Champions League and FA Cup, the league is all done. Who do you actually want from Man City? More than one player? I mean, you're either going to have Sterling or you're going to have De Bruyne. If you've taken out the defenders, who else are you going to really have? Aguero and Jesus now back to that rotation risk. You can't be putting all that money up front for them. Sané, you could argue Sané as well, but Sterling's just in much better form. Silva in and out of the team. So really, you're only going to have one maximum. I don't think you need more than one, looking at the fixtures and the rotation risks that they bring.
Yeah, I just looked at the fixtures. They've got, after 32, they've got United and then Spurs consecutively. So they're not really easy games. So they got Everton at 32. They've got away, United at home. So that'll be a nice game. 5:30 kickoff, and then they've got Spurs after that away from home. Right, in short period, I think. No, not really. There's a week between them, but then you've got the Champions League in between. So these are big games. They can't afford to lose more than one, even though they've got a big gap. But knowing Pep, he wouldn't want to lose too many. So what I'm hoping is by the time we get to 37, we'll see what Pep is doing. Where is he resting? Who's he playing in the league? Because then they will have a double, most likely, I think, in game week 37, I believe, or maybe even 34. I can't remember, to be honest. But at least we can see who's playing, because the cheaper players might be playing more in the league.
Yeah, I just remember they're out the FA Cup anyway, and they're kind of through the next game in the Champions League. So maybe the next few games you'll see a strong team in the Premiership. But it's just hard to predict going forward. Obviously, when they have doubles, then you might be loading up on them. But at the moment, I think one is enough. Yep,
I agree, yeah. Next question from Arvi, his final one, is best double game week 34 player. So he mentions 3. So you can give your pick on this. Key is one, Ward-Prowse is the other, and Albrighton is the other. So which of those three would you prefer for the double game week in 34?
If I had to choose, I'd probably say James Ward-Prowse. Key, you're just not going to really get enough goals from him or assists. He pops up with a random goal every 7, 8, 9 games. You can't really be risking that. Albrighton, I mean, he's got good delivery on him, but it just doesn't seem to be getting in the points. Ward-Prowse, I mean, Southampton have something to play for. Leicester don't, they're safe. They're not going to be relegated or anything. So I think with Southampton having, battling relegation, he's on set pieces. He seems to be pretty nailed on now. So he can even without scoring, he can get you a couple of assists in the game. So I'll pick him out of all three.
Brilliant stuff. And thanks, Arby, for them questions and for keeping David busy. Next up is for Dale, and we've got a two-parter on this. One is from Aussie FPL, so AUS FPL. Our friend on there, he's asked us who was the better Aussie Leeds player. So basically Viduka or Kuhl, and why?
Oh, it's got to be Matt Viduka. I mean, any Leeds fan will tell you that Harry Kuhl left to go to Liverpool in a bit of controversial fashion.
Understandable decision, in all fairness.
Understandable decision on his part, but the club was financially struggling, and he did him out of a fair bit of money at that time. It's not a lot by today's standards, but I mean, don't get me wrong, Kuhl was an absolutely phenomenal player. He was one of my favourites actually, but it's got to be Viduka. I mean, he had 2 seasons where he hit 22 goals, and it was one of them was in our famous Champions League run where we got to the semis. And he was just an absolutely, at the time, he was just an absolute class player. Yeah, I mean, he had a bit of everything. He was a big guy, he was strong, but technically as well, he was just superb. I mean, I can remember at the time when the first season he hit 20 goals, AC Milan, and there was a big team at the time. They're resurging now, but they've gone off the boil. But at the time, there was wanting to buy him for like 20 million, and at that time that was a lot of money, But yeah, he had everything. He could finish. He was technically just superb, and he was just, for a big guy as well. I mean, he was a unit. He was powerful, and yeah, I have so many memories of going to Elland Road and watching him, and just it's got to be Matt Viduka without a doubt.
There's a couple of nice Leeds forwards back in the day. I remember Tony Oboa. I loved him as well. And both powerful class strikes and all that. But Harry Kuhl, I guess, is a little bit the Steve McManaman of Leeds. Like we all remember how great he was, but he left with a little bit of a sour taste in the mouth. But maybe that's
definitely.
Move on to FBL. Back to FBL conversation, Dale. The Mahutsu at T3MK_. He was asking, Arsenal and Chelsea have arguably 2 of the best run-ins. And he's basically asking about Boomerang, which thank you, Mahutsu, for using the proper pod lingo for Aubameyang. Willian, Hazard and Ramsey or Mickey on your watch list. So what are your thoughts on them players, Arsenal and Chelsea players? And also to do with the Arsenal and Chelsea defences, what's your thoughts on them?
Right, so when it comes to Chelsea, I'll be honest, the Chelsea just don't excite me. I think Conte is probably going in the summer, and they've just gone off the boil. I mean, they're conceding goals, they're not scoring goals. He doesn't know to play up front. He's playing Hazard as false 9, and Hazard complained about it the other week, saying he had balls whizzing past his head, and it's not how he plays. He's not playing Giroud. He doesn't trust Morata by the looks of it neither, which I don't blame him, to be fair. So Chelsea, I'd give them a miss. I'm kind of in David's campaign, but he mentioned earlier about Arsenal having a great run-in after this match against Man City. I've actually got triple Arsenal coverage in preparation for that. I've got Aubameyang, I've got Ramsey, and I've got Mustafi. And that's what I'm pinning a late run on is Arsenal's fixtures. I mean, they do blank, but in 31. But I think, like David said, when the pressure's off, they seem to play the best football, and I think you're gonna. Well, I'm hoping that you're going to see the best of Aubameyang, and he's just going to catch fire. And Ramsey's, I had him for his little hat trick, and it just looks like he might be back to something like his best form, like what he hit a few seasons ago. So Yeah, I'd be going on the Arsenal ones because I just fancy Arsenal to do a lot better than Chelsea. I think if anyone's going to fall out of the top four, I'd probably say it might be Chelsea.
Yeah, Arsenal are motivated, of course, to try to make up the points into the top four. Great stuff. Thanks, me and Dale. Next up, Marz, we're back to Liverpool again, but Liverpool are the kind of topic of conversation, of course, at the moment, because they are kind of hitting on all cylinders in attack, and with the fact that they're not blanking in 31, everyone wants to talk about Liverpool, which we like. FBL Minnow at FBL Simon 432 was asking, he's talking again about which is the best third Liverpool player after Salah and Firmino. And we kind of went into this a little bit earlier on, but he's basically wondering about VVD or Mane. I'm strongly on the camp of 3 attacking Liverpool players. I'm not really interested in them defensively, because like I saw against West Ham, is that no matter how strong they look, how good they look, they can concede goals. What are you thinking, Marzi?
Yeah, to be honest, I had plans to bring in Van Dijk, and then I've changed my mind. I think I've changed my mind, and I might just go all out attack with Liverpool. So out of the two, I would say you go Mane. Now there are other options. You could go with Chan. He gets assists and goals sometimes when you don't expect them, and he's actually playing a pivotal role, even though he might be leaving in the summer. The good thing about him is he's quite cheap, so he can give you money somewhere else if you need that. I know for 31 you don't need that much money because there's not many high value players, which is quite annoying, because you can sell all these players and you go, oh wow, I've got so much money in the bank. I was playing around, I've got so much money in the bank, but there's nothing to buy. Literally, Liverpool players are the most expensive players there, and if you don't have Salah, then the next most expensive player is about 9.6 or something like that, which is not that expensive. The thing that you need to watch out for with Liverpool is, they're doing well. Now, as a Liverpool fan, I can tell you that sometimes out of nowhere, we'll go and lose a stupid game. So that's always in the back of my mind. But then also we've got Newcastle. Benitez coming back. He normally sets up a good defensive team. I still expect us to win, but as I always say, it's not going to be easy. Then we go to Old Trafford, which is going to be a huge game. We're catching up on United, but if anybody knows how to get points or get over the last hurdle, it's Mourinho. So he will do what he needs to do to make sure that United are in the top 4. I can see. Well, anything can happen. We can go and absolutely smash them like we should probably, or they will nick it 1-0, or it could be a boring 0-0. My point is, I don't know when you should jump on the 3 Liverpool players, because after that, of course, we've got then Watford at home. So Newcastle, United, Watford, not bad games. Palace away after that, and then of course then you're going into, depending on how you plan your team for the double game weeks. Liverpool don't have a double game week, so we always said, I think last season was King was the single game week player that stayed in the double game weeks, and I would say this time it should be Salah. You build your team around him. He stays in the team, and you build 40. You bring 14 double game week players. Apart from that, really, to be honest, having Liverpool players when the other big teams are playing double games is not worth it. So yes, go on Liverpool for a short term. I would go attacking, but then be careful when you want to go with the double game weeks.
I think the third Liverpool player kind of depends on your position as well. If you're aiming, if you're kind of playing it safe, you're winning your mini leagues, then I think with the high ownership of the defenders, you probably need to get a defender as your third player. But if you're kind of chasing and you're trying to win your mini leagues, you're a bit behind, then you need to go for the differential, which is the third attacker, Mane, because he can be quite explosive and you can easily gain on your rivals who are probably going to go for the defenders.
Good point.
Yeah, very good point. This is not an endorsement for him, but I got the Ox in a few weeks ago as my as a bit of a cheap Liverpool attacker. He's looked good, but and there probably is a goal coming from him, but which, as you mentioned there, Mane he offers so much more in terms of the explosiveness. He can offer multiple goals. He's like Salah in the way that he can score multiple goals in a game. So he could be a brilliant one for 31. But I agree and a brilliant point, David, in terms of the depending on where you are and what you're actually trying to do. We'll move on, lads, to the next section of the show, which is, of course, our Game Week 29 preview. As we did last week, it's a little bit different format. We're doing basically a love-hate. So what we're going to do is look at the fixture, and we're all going to come up then with a few players that we love and maybe a couple that we hate for the coming game weeks. So players that we kind of would normally pick, but we're going to veer away from. Looking at the fixtures, of course, Leicester look like a nice tie with for Vardy and Marz owners when they are at home to Bournemouth. Then we have Spurs, of course, at home to Huddersfield, and Liverpool at home to Newcastle. They're all the Saturday fixtures. Then on Sunday, Arsenal away to Brighton looks good for Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan and the boys. And then we, of course, then have Man United away to Crystal Palace. So there's a good few good fixtures for our attacking facets. Man City, Chelsea could be anything. Who knows? Man City could still score 3 or 4 against Chelsea for all we know. David, let's come to you first on it.
For the next game week, Marz. I mean, I almost got him for a minus even last game week, and it was almost justified because he could have scored. I don't know if anyone of you guys saw the game. He could have easily scored 2 goals. He could have been on 15 points, so it would have been justified, but he was unlucky. Leicester were unlucky, and he ended up just on 2 points, so it would have been a waste. But even though he's blanking, I'm still really liking the look of him. He in the last game week he had 6 shots, so he was one of the top out of every midfielder in the game, along with Mane, I think, got the most shots as well. So I wouldn't rule him out getting loads of points the next 2 to make up for blanking in 31. With fixtures at home to Bournemouth, who just don't keep clean sheets at all, and next one against West Brom, who are the worst in the league for clean sheets. So if he just gets a bit of luck with him, he could get some massive points. So he's one I'm looking at, and he could even be my transfer this week. Another one I like the look of is Troy Deeney. If you look at the stats for the last 3 game weeks, he's second for the most penalty area touches of all the strikers. Benteke's first. I wouldn't go near him personally. And in the last 3 home games, he hasn't actually blanked. So he's scored 2 goals and assisted 1. And he's going to be playing West Brom, who are bottom of the league, and they've conceded the most goals in the last 3 game weeks. So, I could just see him getting... He loves bonus points as well. If he just scores, he's almost guaranteed 3 bonus points. So he's another one I like the look of for a bit of a differential. And in terms of hate, it's just West Brom. I mean, they've conceded the most goals, like I said. They're third bottom for goal attempts, so they're just not even scoring goals as well. So you kind of have to stay away from West Brom. I know people might be tempted to bring in someone from West Brom just because they've got a game in 31, but they don't really score goals. They don't really keep clean sheets. So you're going to just be getting 1 or 2 points from their players, most likely. So I'll stay away from West Brom.
Thanks a million, David. I'm sure Marz will have something to say about your Deeney shout. Dale, coming to you next on it. Give us some of your love players for Game Week 29.
One player I really like for Game Week 29 is already been mentioned a few times on the pod, is Sadio Mane. Now, he's just such a streaky player, and when he hits it, you need to get on him quick. I mean, I bought him on the back of the hat-trick in the Champions League, and Newcastle they've treaded water all season, and I think Liverpool are just going to absolutely blow them away. So if you're looking for a massive differential compared to Salah, I'd be looking at Mane. So he's one player I really like for this week. I quite fancy Burnley, actually, to beat Everton. They've got Chris Wood back, so he might feature. But Everton are I just don't know what's going on at that club. They've just lost the plot. I mean, they've got no transfer strategy. Allardyce has come out and said he ain't playing Tosin until they're mathematically safe from relegation. And like I said earlier, they've won 2 in 11. So yeah, I quite fancy Burnley, like, to revert to type, definitely get a clean sheet. So if you've got Pope, I'd be looking at playing him. And hate, well, I've already met Everton. It's got to be Everton. we all had John Joe Kenny at one point, I think, on Twitter. I think he needs to get shut of him. Definitely get shut of him.
Time to fill Kenny, as we said last week.
Yeah, definitely. And Chelsea have got Man City. I just don't fancy them to get a result there neither, or even a 0-0. I think Chelsea just look rudderless. So, I mean, Alonso and Azpilicueta are like 20% owned, and they're the two most expensive defenders in the game, and I don't think they've returned for like 5 game weeks between them. So I don't like the look of those neither at all.
Good stuff, Dale. Marz, have you had time to recover from the Troy Deeney shout? And give us your love and hate players for 29?
Yeah, Fat Boy's never making his way into my team at all. Not after what he did to me last season. No way.
He's in the top 100. He's in the top 100 in the FPL this season. So you have to listen to David. You can't just reject his ideas like you do mine, you know.
Just to be clear, I wasn't calling David Fat Boy. I was calling Troy Deeney Fat Boy. Just to be clear. I do agree with David, however, that Watford is a nice game. I like the Watford players there, so I would go with Decore or Okaka, of course, but also even my lovely secret weapon on the bench, Mariappa. I will be starting him this game week. Nice 4 million. So if you need money, or 4.1 at the moment. Like David said, like you can't see West Brom scoring. I don't like Padru, so it's happening to couldn't happen to a nicer person anyway. When you're club captain and your senior club players are more interested in stealing taxis and doing whatever, it just shows that there's something absolutely wrong at the club. It's a shame. Well, no, actually, it's not a shame because they always frustrate me.
You know what's wrong with that? You know what's wrong with that club, don't you, with Marz?
Well, what's happening?
We've got Alan Pardew in charge.
Well, that's the problem. Man's
a fraud. I think I saw a stat on Twitter. He's won like 7 games in his last 50 odd. You know, he's an absolute fraud.
What did they expect with that? Honestly,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
could save relegation, don't you?
Yeah. You need the Pulis, don't you? You definitely, you need the Pulis at this stage. But I also, so I like Swansea. I like Swansea at home versus West Ham. I think Swansea could surprise people now. I like the way they've been playing. I absolutely love their manager. He's come out of nowhere. I know he was at Sheffield Wednesday. He didn't really do that well. Got sacked. Coming breath of fresh air. Breath of fresh air. I love the way he just says it how it is basically, and the way they're playing. So if you have Ayew, for example, or even the defenders, either of the Ayew brothers. Yeah, exactly. Either of the Ayew brothers. I've got my eye on Klukas for later on for the wild card. Just again a cheap differential. And then obviously, let's give that obvious one a shout out. You've got Spurs against Huddersfield, so I'd be loving Kane there. Probably again, if I don't captain Salah, it'll probably be Kane. And then for the ones that I don't like, I actually don't like any of the Sunday fixtures. I think Arsenal can be done by Brighton. Sorry, David. Maybe afterwards in the home run they might do well. Man City, Chelsea, and like Dale said, anything can happen. Palace United, anything can happen. So the Monday fixture, I don't like any of them actually. And apart from that, Stoke Southampton could surprise people. Shaqiri surprised me this weekend. I really did not expect him to score against Leicester. So if he does that again, then I'll be happy, and you'll see the Shaqiri gif all over again.
Yeah, we like that one, Marz. Thanks a million.
I love it.
Good answers. Lads, we're on to the next section of the show, which is the Barlow and Baldwin captain picks. You know your drill. So we'll start with you, David, as our guest. So looking at your own team, who are you going to be picking if you want to make the conservative choice? That's the Barlow this game week. And who are you going to go for if you're feeling frisky? So that's the Baldwin.
This is going to be a very hard captain pick this week. Salah and Kane, obviously. Salah home to Newcastle and Kane home to Huddersfield. I mean, if I want to play it safe, I'd just go for Salah. It sounds crazy, but Kane is more of a risky captain now in terms of like your overall rank. I don't know why. I have a really bad feeling about Liverpool against Newcastle. They played earlier on the season and it was 1-1. And Benitez back to Anfield. And we just know Liverpool have about 2, 3, 4 home games a season against poor teams where they just draw 0-0 or lose. I just don't know. I have a bad feeling about that, and I could just see Kane obviously smashing Huddersfield. But at the moment, I'm on Salah, so playing it safe. I'm on Salah, and my risky one would be, they're all shocking, the rest of my captain choices this week, but it would probably be if I bring him in, Marz, home to Bournemouth, because he's not someone I would really captain, but I could definitely see him getting some points, so he'd be my risky differential pick.
Yeah, I'd say I feel the same kind of trepidation to do with the Newcastle game, because Benitez does love to. He knows how to set up against teams that are superior, I guess, and I can see them causing us a few problems in terms of breaking them down. Dale, come to you next. Give me your Barlow and your Baldwin.
My Barlow, it's got to be Harry Kane. The Spurs are going to see the majority of the ball. He's going to have about 25,000 shots. So, I'd probably go with Kane in my team for my Ken Barlow pick. My Baldwin pick would be, I've already mentioned him, Sadio Mane, and I'm going to captain him, so I apologise to everyone in advance when he blanks. But yeah, I'll go for Mane, 8% owned, and he's differential to Salah in that Liverpool attack if Salah happens to have an off day, which he has. I don't think he's had one this season so far. He's just playing football for fun, and he's just been phenomenal. I backed him at the beginning of the season and to outscore Mane, and I got derided for it.
Not by us, Dale. Not by us.
No, but it's got to be proven right. But I still didn't put him in my team. So. But
you're going to have to stick to that Mane shout now, because you said it on podcast, so you have to. It's going
to happen. It's going to happen.
Marz, what about yourself? Who are you going for your Barlow and Baldwin this week?
Just to let Dale know, Salah did have one bad game week where I captained him and he got only 1 assist. That's a bad game week in his standards. I think that was the only time I captained him.
He's got a bit of Ballon d'Or this year, hasn't he, surely?
Oh, well, I don't know. They don't like the Premiership today.
No, but it's got...
Yeah, I agree with the boys. It will be between Salah and Kane. I think I'm going Kane at the moment. Just maybe it's I don't like to jinx Liverpool play. I don't know. Maybe it could be the fact that I don't like to jinx Liverpool players. And for me, it's Liverpool winning is the most important. So the captain is a bonus. Don't want the pressure. I don't want to hate the player or something like that. I don't know why. I'm not captaining Salah. I also prefer forwards. Maybe because they get more chances. But then Salah could easily be a forward, to be honest.
He basically is
next season. Next season probably will be.
It wouldn't surprise me. I like the Mane shout as a differential. He'd probably be my transfer in. If I was really chasing and really ballsy, I would look at Watford, West Brom. I'm not going to say Deeney, but if you do have him and if you really want to be risky, then him or Decore. If you really, really want to, that's a risky one. But that's it. Nothing really shouts out. Again, in my team, because I don't have Deeney or Decore, it will be Shaqiri against Southampton. Would be the risky one.
Shaqiri, yeah, nice fixture in 29. Thanks a million, fellas. That's all we got time for on tonight's show. Thanks a million, our honorary amigo, David Issac, who you all follow, of course, at Davidoff_7. Thanks to you all for listening, sharing and liking the pod, and get following our group Twitter account at 3Amigos FPL. Marz at Marz05, Dale at Chef Dale H, and myself at FPL Marple. Booyah!
One for each other and all for one. The three brave amigos are we. Brother to brother and everyone, a brave amigo.